And so this is a computer vision use case. So I'm going to walk through the use case in PyTorch. And PyTorch is extensively used in Azure as well. And this walkthrough is of a real world use case involving, especially it is of much more relevance of currently, because um, I mean, right now there was second wave of COVID in India, and there's a lot of casualties and a lot of deaths out there. And so this might strike a connection with the audience. So if you see coronavirus diagnosis, there is something called polymerase chain reaction, which is the suggested and official diagnosis, which is used for COVID detection. But it is a very, very time consuming task. And this COVID 19 detection using chest x rays is also suggested. But COVID-19 chest X-ray detection is not officially approved. It is something which is still under research. And this problem is about detecting opacities. This is also an object detection, and it's also an object classification problem. And so this particular problem is both an object detection and classification. So object detection is there is something called opacity. Opacity is your lungs will get filled with oxygen, and there will be a blockage in the lungs. So it will be a transparent structure, which you can see it in the X-rays. And this kind of opacities can be detected from the chest X-ray. So this is an object detection problem. So if you find an opacity in a chest X-ray, you will draw a bounding box around that opacity. So that part of the problem is the object detection. The way it is object classification is when you take the symptoms. So if you take the characteristics of pneumonia, so there are several characteristics. So if you take the official characteristics for COVID-19, there are certain characteristics. Those characteristics are grouped under typical appearance. And so this is how the lungs will look like. These are the characteristics. So all the characteristics which are coming for COVID-19 will be grouped as typical appearance. There are few characteristics which may not be necessarily for COVID-19, but there are pneumonia characteristics. So what happens is this COVID, when people have opacities in chest X-rays, it could also be a case that the person is having some other forms of pneumonia. It's not necessarily it should be COVID-19. So he might, the chest X-rays might show all the characteristics of pneumonia, but not necessarily COVID-19. So these two categories are indeterminate appearance and atypical appearance. Sometimes the person will not have any symptoms of COVID-19 in the chest X-rays, that is negative for pneumonia. So these are the four categories: negative for pneumonia, typical appearance, indeterminate appearance, and atypical appearance. So you have these four categories. And now, so this way you will be classifying the images into either of these four categories. And so this is an object detection and an object classification problem. So now let's look into the object detection part. Now let's first walk through a simple idea. We may not have time by 7:20. We might be able to finish the session. So if you have doubts, you can always reach out to me in LinkedIn, or you can reach out to me in other platforms. So now first let's start by looking at the data set, what we have got. So we've got a couple of CSV files. So these CSV files are the metadata. So we have something called study level CSV file, and we have something called image level CSV files. And so the image level and the study level. So if you see at the image level, it's a classification problem, and at the study level, it's an object detection problem. So you have got a lot of metadata about the bounding boxes. The image level has got all the bounding boxes and all those. So at the image level, it's a object detection problem. So you have the related details related to the object detection in the image level CSV, and in the study level CSV, you have the related details related to the classification part. And you also have a sample submission on how for you'll have to make your prediction submission for this competition. And you also have the trained data set images and the test data set images. So if you see the images, they are of a certain format. So like you have studies, series, and images, you have it in a certain folders. So this is not a typical computer vision competition. Different host will have the data in different formats. So for this competition, you have it in this format. So this is the data we've got images, and we've got a couple of CSV files. So now let's quickly go through the EDA part. So these are the libraries, and we have this path where we are reading the we are going to the path where all the files are present. So we have these file submission CSV file, train image level, train study level CSV files, and then we are loading all these data, and then we will just check the length of train, how many images are there in the training. So we have around 6,334 images for training images, and we have around 6,054 images for study level images, and we have around 2,477 images for testing out a model. And a quick head on the train image data set we have. So at the image level, this is a object detection problem. So we have the image ID, we have the bounding boxes, and we have the labels as well. And we also have study instance UID. So this is the connector which connects the image level and the study level data. And we can also do a head on the study level data CSV file which we have. So we have these 4 categories: negative for pneumonia, typical appearance, indeterminate, and atypical appearance. So negative for pneumonia is the patient doesn't have pneumonia at all, and typical appearance is he has the typical characteristics for COVID-19. For indeterminate and atypical appearance, both are for some form of pneumonia, but not necessarily COVID-19. So we have the files in the form of DICOM. So we can read the DICOM files and convert it into the image, so that we can do some, we can do some analysis in that images. So we have certain libraries for reading the DICOM file, which is PyDICOM. So we can take the DICOM files and convert it into an image data file. And then we can convert this data file into a pixel array. And we can print out this if you print out the DICOM file, you will have all the metadata related to the image. You will have the image, and all these details related to the images will be there. And this is an image shape. So it's images come in different dimensions. So for this competition, you have the dimensions as 3, 4, 8, 8, 4, 2, 5, 6. And a simple EDA on this is this particular image. We are actually taking the bounding boxes, and we are drawing the bounding boxes on the images. So this is how you will classify. If there is opacity, if you say this, you will be able to see some transparent structure here, which is a characteristic symptom that the patient has got COVID-19. And so you'll be drawing a bounding box. If you see some opacities, you'll be drawing a bounding box around those opacities. And if the patient doesn't have any opacities, then they will be returning it as null. So this is a simple example showing for one images. You can do it for different images as well. So for this particular example, the patient doesn't have any opacity, so there is no bounding boxes. For the other images, you have opacities. And if you do a simple EDA, and you'll see like how many images have got no opacity at all. So there are 2,000 images where there's no opacities, and there are around 1,000 images where you have some form of opacity, and there are around 3,500 images where you have double opacities. And then how many negative for pneumonia, typical appearance, indeterminate appearance, and atypical appearances are there. So there are so many images under different categories. So this is a simple EDA on the data set which we have. And now we're going to use PyTorch. And you can actually solve this problem using any framework, but you can use any framework, or whatever is your platform. You can solve it. Cafe, Theano, there's so many platforms and frameworks for solving the problem. So this is a typical object detection and classification problem. So whatever is your preferred framework, you can replicate the same logic in that particular framework. But I'm going to walk you through in PyTorch. And again, for object detection, there are several standard architectures which are out there. And so you can use any architectures which you like, whether you like YOLO 50, YOLO 5, or efficient det, or you can try out using different state-of-the-art architectures, or you can come up with your own architectures as well. But I'm showing us this, since this is a beginner level session, to accommodate all of them, I'm showing a walkthrough using PyTorch and faster RCNN. And so we'll be starting by, so in the previous notebook, we saw how to load the data, and we saw a simple exploratory analysis on the data set. So now let's load the data. Now let's check out the modeling part. So I'm just having a couple of utility functions where I will be taking the I'll be taking the training images. I'll be given a path. From the path, I'll be reading all the given an image ID. This particular function will return the path where the image ID is present. So there are two utility functions, one for retrieving the train data files and the other for retrieving the test data files. Now I'm going to import pandas, and then I'm going to read the CSV file, which is I've created an updated CSV file. Which is contains which has taken the bounding box values, and which is made into 4 columns, which is ymin, xmin, and xmax, and ymax. And so you also have the DICOM part, and you also have this is a merged data set where both study level and image level data is being merged into a single CSV file. And you have the libraries here. And for PyTorch, so you will have the concept of data loaders, and you will also have the concept of data sets. And so we'll first create a simple configuration class where we will be the parameters which we will be using throughout the training, throughout in the notebook. We will be setting it up. We're going to use 5 folds training. So I'm going to set the folds as number of folds as 5. Seed is for reproducibility. You can set any random number. And we have 4 classes here. So number of classes, these are just variables which these are global variables, sort of global variables, which I might be using throughout my code. So I'm just declaring it in a default configuration class. And my device is you'll have to use GPU for it. And so we'll be starting now. So I'm going to for this is a computer vision problem with a lot of images. So GPU might be your typical accelerator which you need to use. Compared to CPU, you'll have to use GPU because it takes a lot of time to train on CPU. And so this is a piece of code which will set your default device as GPU and all that. And you can use any optimizers, any of the upcoming optimizers in the research papers, but you can also use optimizers like Adam and SGD. And Adam, if you're using Adam optimizer, then you'll have to set the parameters like learning rate and epsilon, epsilon. And for SGD, you'll have to set the corresponding parameters. So these parameters are given as the default parameters, which is suggested in the research paper of Adam. That paper, if you take, these are the papers parameters which are suggested. And also, if you watch the Andrew NG course, you would have suggested these as the parameters as well. But you can, tune these parameters. It's not necessary you should give only these parameters. You can also do. So this piece of code is for reproducibility. So every time, whenever you use random number generation and all, every time you are running the code, you want the same numbers to be getting generated and all that. So that when you trying to reproduce it, you will get the same score accuracy and all. So you need to write this piece of code for reproducibility purposes. And so this is a bit of complex walkthrough of code. The rest of the code is going to be a little bit complex for beginners to follow, but don't get overwhelmed. And if you're very new to computer vision, you might find it overwhelming. But for somebody who's an intermediate and advanced person in computer vision might be easily able to follow it. So I'm going to do a five-fold training. So I'm going to use stratified k-fold from the scikit-learn package to split it into five folds and do the training. And so this piece of code where I'm using stratified k-fold and I'm splitting my training and validation data set into five folds. And stratified k-fold is very handy, and you don't have to do much of low level coding. You can just use this package to get it done. And then for argumentations is for data augmentations. Whenever there is less data, you can create more data by using augmentations. You can use any augmentations packages, but argumentations is one of the recommended packages for augmentations. So you can use argumentations, and these are like basic transformations out there, but you can try out, since this is only a starter walkthrough. These are only basic transformations, but you can experiment on different transformations. You can try out different transformations, and you can experiment on the transformations, and data set and data loader. So when you take data sets, so you need to there is this whole concept of building an input pipeline, and PyTorch is built using data set and data loaders. So data loaders comes with a lot of utility functions, which you can create data loaders from the data set. So it comes with a lot of more utility functions which will help you build an efficient input pipeline. So we're going to create a custom data set for this use case. And so this particular custom data set has got several methods. And we will be first, having a method initialization, where we'll be initializing all the transformations, all the file names, all the initializations will be done here. Get item is given an index, you should be able to retrieve that particular item. So, given an image index, we are able to return that image, that boxes and labels and all that. And for transformations, you have the augmentations packages which we have written, and all the transformations are returned here. And length is, it will return the shape of the image. Load image and boxes. So this particular thing is you will be doing a lot of if you want to do any manipulations on the images, converting into a tensor, and then normalization and all these things will be done in the load image and boxes. So this is a basic data set for this particular use case. And then once you create the data set, at later point, you will be converting the data set into data loader. And now I'm going to just visualize a single image. So this is how a single image with opacity will look like. I'm just drawing a bounding box using that, around that opacity. And then we are writing several other utility functions, like getting training data set, where if you give the fold number, it will retrieve the training data set. The same data set, we can use it for training, validation and the test data set. And yeah, now that we have finished the data sets, we can convert the data sets into data loader, because data loader comes with a lot of more utility functions which will help you build much more efficient pipeline. So I'm using this get data set, get train data set. First, I'm creating a train data set. Then I'm creating a converting this data set into a data loader. So once I get the train data loader, you can do the iterations very easily, and there are a lot of more other operations which you can do very easily using data loaders. And so the metric for this particular use case is map. And so we've so far finished the data sets and the data loader part, which is building an efficient input pipeline. The next step, we are going to see the modeling part. So for the modeling part, you can actually use any architecture, state-of-the-art architectures like YOLO v5, efficient DET, or you can use any of the state-of-the-art architectures. But the architecture which I'm going to use and is faster RCNN. And I'm creating few utility functions to track the values, the loss values, the sum, the count, and all these values. I'm creating few utility functions to track all these values. And then I'm creating a fitter class. And so this is where my entire model training will happen. So before checking out this model training, I'll walk you through this faster RCNN. So faster RCNN is a pre-trained model. So I'm using the PyTorch version of faster RCNN. You can also use the TensorFlow version if you require it. Using the PyTorch version, I'm creating the model. I'm using the pre-trained weights here. And then this is the main training block where I'm creating the data set and the data loader and calling the model and calling the fit method of the model. So now let's go back and look at the fitter class of how the code is written. So this is a main fitter class which we are calling after we instantiate the model object. We are calling this fit method from this fitter class. So this fitter class is a bit lengthy. So it has a lot of parts. So first you have initialization where you set all the initial values, you set the log details and all that. And then optimizers, whether you're going to use Adam or SGD, all the optimizer related parameters and all that will be configured. And once you configure, you have the fit method here. So the fit method is where you actually train your training data. So you're setting your learning rate, timestamp, and then you have the summary loss, best score, and all that. And then for the validation data is where you will be predict after you train on the training data, you will make prediction on the validation data in the validation method. And here is where you are making the prediction. And once you do make the predictions, you will be making a test. You'll be testing it out on the later. You will have a function for testing it out on the test data set. And you so we have written a couple of methods. Like one is the eval meter and the average meter method. So the average meter will keep track of all the average losses, the best summary loss, and all these losses will be kept track by the average meter. And there's also another function which is eval meter, which will keep track of the metric. So the metric for this competition is mean average precision, and so that will be kept track by this particular class. So this is a simple walkthrough of the use case of object detection, using faster RCNN using PyTorch. This code might look little overwhelming for somebody who has not dealt with PyTorch before and who has not worked in object detection or computer vision. But don't get disappointed with that. It comes with practice. This is a very baseline starter code, and this is not enough to win the competition. You'll have to work a lot on it. You'll have to do a lot more iterations on it to win a medal or get higher ranking in the competition. And so just in case if you want to understand what is mean average precision is, you can always go to the evaluation page, and they have all the additional details about what mean average precision is and what study level label is and how exactly the submission for this competition should be. Like you have the study level ID, and then what kind of negative, or it is one of the 4 categories, and how you put the bounding box coordinates, and all this explanation is given under the evaluation criteria. And so we've come to the end of the session walkthrough.